guys, and welcome back to my kitchen. Today is dog treat making day. I've been out of dog biscuits now for 2 days, and that makes me a very bad fur mom. But I wasn't about to rush to the store just to get dog biscuits, especially right at this point where we're not supposed to be making those non-essential trips. So I decided I would resurrect an old recipe that I have used here before, and we're going to make some homemade dog biscuits with, I think, maybe 5 ingredients, so stay tuned. Okay, let's talk ingredients for our dog treats. So in the big silver bowl here we have 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Now, normally I would use whole wheat, but I am out of whole wheat flour and it is fine. My dogs fortunately do not have allergies that would make this not great for them. But in general, for dog cookies, I would suggest using whole wheat flour. Over here we've got 1 egg. We have a cup of peanut butter. And just a note about your peanut butter, not all peanut butters are created equal. So make sure that when you are making dog treats with your peanut butter, that it is a peanut butter made from pure peanuts and not without a lot of extra sweeteners and stuff in it, because sometimes those sweeteners can be very, very bad for dogs. I know in the States they recently had a problem with a particular brand of peanut butter that contained an ingredient called xylitol. Xylitol is commonly found in things like chewing gums, and it can kill your dogs in no time, very, very fast. So make sure that you do not have any nasty ingredients in your peanut butter. Natural peanut butter is even better. 1 cup of water there, just tap water. Extra flour for our surface. We have some baking powder, and I've got my Pam spray in case it gets a little bit sticky. In terms of equipment, you're really only going to need a rolling pin, some measuring spoons, a good sort of scraper. Silicone is great for that, and of course some cookie cutters. Now I have an assortment of dog bone cookie cutters, and we're going to use, I think, the 2 smallest ones that I have. But if you don't have cookie cutters in the shape of dog biscuits, use a small glass or whatever you've got. Just something, lid from a jam jar, or an upside down hard-boiled egg cup if you've got something like that, just to make something of a uniform size. Okay, let's get started and I'll show you how we make these. And by the way, we have our oven preheating. It's going to be 375 degrees. Okay, so we're going to get started. I'm just going to grab a fork here. Let's give our flour a bit of a mix. All right, to that we are going to add 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. We are going to add our peanut butter. This is where those silicone scrapers are really handy to get every last bit of peanut butter out of your measuring cup. All right, we have an egg. And our water. I'm just going to add it a little bit at a time. Your dough is going to be quite stiff and sticky. Now there is a ton of dog cookie recipes that you can find online. So if you don't have one of these ingredients, check online and see if you can find one that lines up with what you've got in your cupboard. A lot of dog treat recipes call for pumpkin, and pumpkin is really good for dogs, good for their digestion, it's easy on their skin. I just didn't happen to have pumpkin kicking around. You'll also find ones that call for like garlic powder as a flavoring. That's my Cleo grumbling. It's the thing about basset hounds. They talk and grumble in a way that I don't think any other dog does. Now, this is pretty sticky. I feel like I'm gonna add just a bit more flour into my batter because it is really sticky. I don't think I could even get that rolled out right now. This would be a great, if you have a stand mixer, this is a great thing to do in a stand mixer because it's gonna mix it very uniformly for you. That's looking a little bit better. Okay. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a piece of parchment paper. And just put it on my counter. I am going to dust this with some flour anyway because this is still a sticky dough. But it's just going to make it a little bit easier to clean up when all is said and done. You know what? I think I'm actually going to use, I'm only going to roll half this dough at one time. Where is my pastry cutter and scraper? Oh well. Just use it. Roll back here. Put half this dough in here. All right, let's see where we go with this. Now I've got my Pam spray handy here because if it does start sticking quite badly to my rolling pin, which it might, it's starting already. Let's try some flour first. See. Now I don't know if it has to do with the humidity today. This is way stickier than I ever remember this recipe being, to be honest with you. But again, it's really, really humid outside. That could have something to do with it. Okay. A little bit of Pam on the rolling pin definitely helps. Okay, and that's about the right thickness. You're going for about a 1/4 inch thick, which I'm going to say we are right now. Flour up the top a little bit more. And then you're just going to take your dog bone cookie cutters or whatever you happen to be using. Punch them out and put them on your little cookie sheet. So, like I said, I'm going to use probably the 2 smallest size cutters to do mine because I want to have a lot of treats so I don't have to do this again in a big hurry. And I will meet you back here once all my cookies are cut. Okay guys, so as you can see, I've been cutting and cutting and cutting, and I still have the better part of half of that dough still to use. You get a lot of dog treats out of it because you take all your scraps and you keep re-rolling it and cutting and cutting and cutting. But fair warning, I just found the first half was really stickier than I liked it. So for the second half of the dough, I added in, I would say, a good 1/4 cup more flour and gave it another little bit of a knead. So I'm gonna say maybe if you're making this recipe at home, do one of 2 things. Either scale back the amount of water that you put into the dough, or add in another 1/4 cup of flour or more, just till you get it to a point where it's still a nice elastic dough, but it's just, I don't know if maybe I'm just recalling my recipe wrong, but in any event, I think the consistency of this second batch of dog treats that I'm cutting out here, I like how they are coming out a lot better. So I haven't really counted either to see what I've got, but there's a lot. I mean, this is going to definitely This will definitely keep me going until I can get my act together and go to the grocery store for a regular shop. Pick up some treats there. And there are recipes out there too. If you have a cat, same thing. There's recipes out there for cat treats. I don't have a cat. I have never made cat treats. But I'd be interested in hearing from you guys if you have made homemade cat treats, how they turned out. Okay, so my cookie sheet's full. They don't expand a whole lot, but they do kind of puff up. So I'm going to call it a day here. I'll just keep cutting and rolling until these are done in the oven, and then I'll swap out. But in the meantime, I wanted to show you guys what I found while I was rooting through my cookie cutter collection. So while I was looking for my dog bone cookie cutters, I stumbled upon all of these sort of summer themed cookie cutters. I've got really cute little seahorse here, a little, looks like a drink with a lime or something on it, sunglasses, a sailboat, ice cream cone, some butterflies, and a flower. So I am thinking maybe on a rainy day or a rainy weekend this summer, maybe we'll have to do a video on making some fancy cookies and post that, decorating and baking fancy sugar cookies. It's too nice right now to get into something like that, but if we do end up with a rainy weekend, that may be something that you'll see coming as well. Okay, so I'm just about to put my dog treats into the oven, and we're going to give them 20 minutes at 375, and then we'll give them a check and see how they are. The longer you bake them, the drier and crunchier they're going to be, so it sort of depends on your preference and what you think your dog is going to like. Before we put them in the oven though, I will say that I found this while I was rooting through my cookies. I had a sailboat already, and I must have gotten a second one. So it's brand new, it's never been used, and I would like to give it away to one of you. Who wants to be entered for the little cookie cutter? Send us an email or put a post up on Facebook letting us know your favorite post that we have done so far since we've been in quarantine, whether it's a video or just something, bit of information that we posted. Everybody who responds, I'll put your name in a draw, I'll pull someone's name out, and then I will porch deliver this to you as soon as we can. So if you would like to win the little cookie cutter, that's how you do it. Okay, let's get our dog treats in the oven. And we'll see you in 20 minutes. Okay, so here's our dog cookies. They've just come out of the oven, so they're still way too hot to give to one of the official taste testers. But you can see, so the ones on this end of the pan are from the second half of the dough that I added a bit more flour to. These ones down here, some of them you can see are super skinny and they got really kind of overdone, are from the first batch. So I would definitely say scale back the water or add more flour to the mix if you're doing this. Second batch of these cookies is now in the oven, so all we have to do is wait for those. And by that time, hopefully these will be cooled enough that the official taste testers, one of whom is here and the other has disappeared, can give you their official verdict. Okay, so the last of our treats are out of the oven. As you can see, that batch of dough made enough cookies to fill my biscuit jar. So that's great, that'll keep us going for a few days anyways. And these two are completely cooled, and we are now going to let the official taste testers weigh in. Okay, ready guys? Yes, okay. Winston, Cleo. They're definitely crunchy. Cleo, did you even taste that? Oh, such a glutton. Well, Winston, how was it, my boy? They keep looking in the general direction of the cookie jar, so I'm going to take that as a win. How about you, Cleo? Well, it would seem that the jury is in. The dogs definitely like the cookies. They keep sitting, staring up at the biscuit jar, wanting more, but they're not having more until they do something that warrants a treat. So thanks for joining me in my kitchen. Hope you've enjoyed learning how to make some homemade dog treats for yourself. Bye now.